opinyon ng pag-uulat ng mag-uulat sa programang ito ay hindi ang pangunahing posisyon o pahayag ng pamumunuan ng organisasyong ito. The views and opinions expressed in this live report are those of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the management of this organization. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Editorial. Today is Monday, April 4, 2022. I am Carlos Miguel Kanahashi, your host for today, and Sir Mark Betita as my technical supervisor. And we're broadcasting simultaneously on InkluRadio, Facebook page, and to be viewed on the next day on the Hands in Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel. We shall commence our presentation in just a moment, and we will be back after our commercials. Now this.
para sa aking pamilya, para sa aking kapwa, at para sa bayan. Kahit mahirap, kahit masakit, mahal ko kayong lahat. Kahit anong mangyari, ikaw, ako, tayo. Ating isisigaw sa mundo. Inklusibong may tatag, angat buhay itatahak. Matapang pa rin tayo. Ang tropa, hindi nang iiwan. Ang senyas, isang instrumento. Ilang beses matumba, tayo huling babangon. Luman ang ating pinagalitan. Tayo ay muling liliwan. Para sa pangarap, para sa pamilya, at para sa bayan. Tayo ang ida. Tuloy ang inclusion.
Welcome back to Editorial. This afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be discussing to you about autism in sports. This is involving the participation of people with autism in sporting activities and other related activities. So, what does this mean? Why do we need to keep people fit and well, and also to take part in sports and physical activity, especially for us persons with autism? So, without further ado, here now is our topic: autism in sports. Sir Mark, can you share screen, please? Thank you. Okay. So, here is our topic, ladies and gentlemen, about participation of people with autism in sporting activities and other related activities. Next slide, please. So, the reason why we need to have sports is because we need to keep us fit and well, to increase self-esteem, to develop social skills, to improve our well-being, and to improve our mental health. All of us and many of us on the autism spectrum disorder miss out the benefits because sports and physical activity leaders aren't always aware of the impact of the hidden differences such as fear and anxiety, challenges in sensory, differences with metaphor, and understanding body language. Next slide, please. What are the three common areas of difference? Social communication, nonverbal communication, and verbal communication. Social communication is done wherein people may have differences in verbal and nonverbal. Many have a very literal understanding of language and think people always mean exactly what they say. Nonverbal communications is done through the use of eye contact, tone of voice, body language, gestures, and facial expressions. Because we need this because they have difficulties in identifying and interpreting nonverbal communication. Verbal communication understands what other people say to them, but they have to use visual symbols, or sign language. Next slide, please. What are the 10 struggles of PWA in sports? Uh, can you go back to the previous slide, please? Thank you. In small talk, it is done through developing relationships with our teammates and also to discuss things that are particularly interested in, such as the weather or journey to the sessions. Because it is done because you need to have a small talk, because you need to have more concepts and plans. When you're using the tone of voice, it is because you are adding to the meanings of what you say. And some people with autism may have difficulty with monitoring or changing their tone of voice, can lead to misunderstandings in social situations. Next slide, please. Formal language is wherein daily conversations can be quite informal, using slang terms or incomplete sentences instead of using formal language. Formal language or literal language is done through the use of metaphors, similes, and ambiguous phrases. Examples of these are run like the wind and pull your socks up. Some people with autism can interpret language literally and find it hard to infer meaning from ambiguous or unclear phrases. In reciprocal conversation, they are complex and often unspoken. People with autism can find it difficult to work out what these rules are and may need to put a lot of effort and focus into following them. Next slide, please. Eye contact is done because we need to understand what they are listening to and what they are hearing. Because you need to do face-to-face communication. In physical boundaries, you should know the size of the area, the closeness of the relationship, and the type of activity that you are going to be engaging in, especially in the field of sports. In empathy, it is the ability to understand and to respond to another person's feelings and also to use nonverbal cues. Next slide, please. Restricted and repetitive behaviors, activities, and interests. Patterns allow us to understand and predict other people's behavior. This is done through the use of abstract ideas to imagine situations outside our immediate daily routine. And lastly, change. Because many people in the autism spectrum disorder describe high levels of stress and anxiety around change. Examples of these are environmental changes, activity spaces, relationship changes, situational changes, such as facing a new team or playing to the new rules because the referee is different. Next slide, please. So according to this quote from Tom Morgan, the ambassador of the National Autistic Society Sports, he states that my coach was giving me some instructions during a break in the game. He told me to use my head when going to the tackle. I took this very literally and ended up head butting the opposing player. Next slide, please. Can persons with autism play in sports? The answer is absolutely yes. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there are many ways for children and adults with autism to participate actively and successfully in sports. Each child is unique in his or her diagnosis. Next slide, please. What are the top 5 sports for persons with autism? Bowling, swimming, cycling, and running. Bowling is a sport wherein you will be playing holding up with the ball so that you aim it towards the pins in order for the pins to crash down. Swimming is a type of sport wherein we need to know basic strokes and typical water play and ball handling skills. Strong swimmers with autism can be successful on teams because the sport allows for individual competition. Cycling is done through balance, especially it is done outdoors. And for running, the program is allowing this type of sport to have extensive anecdotal evidence that shows that running helps people with autism improve physical and emotional health. Next slide, please. What are the other activities for fun and exercises? Consider classes in yoga, dance, or other movements. Create activities like obstacle courses, gamify exercise such as we and Kinect, wherein we need to use our bodies and to learn new skills at home without the pressure of being observed or encouraged in to join as well. Next slide, please. What are the benefits of sport and physical activities in persons with autism? It is done to increase self-esteem, keep us fit and well, to develop our social skills, and to improve mental health and general well-being. Other benefits are to be successful, to, to release my frustration, slight improvement in coordination, reduces anxiety, also to, to be working as a team, and also to be stress-free as well, and to have melt to try things as well. So try and try until you succeed. Next slide, please. In the barriers or perceived challenges, ladies and gentlemen, based on findings, it suggests that people choose to participate in sports for a number of reasons because of the following: to learn a new skill, benefits in health, social interaction, and enjoyment. According to a quote from Andrew Edwards, he states that I struggled with other members of the class, so I wasn't there to socialize as I already had my mates. I was there to get fitter and not to joke as that is what you do outside of training. Why someone chooses to participate in a sport or activity will depend on the preferences and to everyone will have their own reasons for participating. Next slide, please. What are the myths and realities of autism in sports? For people with autism, team games can be daunting. Oversensitivity can lead to have certain stimuli, it such as contact with others, especially or male in contact sports seem off-putting to people in the autism spectrum. People with autism often always communicate in different ways because they're not listening or paying attention. Doesn't necessarily mean that, so ladies and gentlemen. It can take longer to process information. People in autism can often keen to make friends. And lastly, people with autism can have strong academic abilities and doing visual skills because we need to have our full potential based on the realities and myths of autism in sports. Next slide, please. In order to provide an inclusive physical activity environment, what is this meaning in inclusion spectrum and how can you use this? A structure for inclusion, flexible tool for use with a wide range of activities and abilities, continuum of participation, social and environmental approach, emphasis on ability, not disability, varying rates of progression and development. For the inclusion spectrum, next slide please, everyone can play. Everyone is doing the same activity without change. And also, example of this is that a game of traffic lights which involve the skills of running and stopping. On the green, go code. Instruct participants to move rather than to run. Change to include in modified activity is everyone is doing the same but there will be changes to the rules and equipment to ensure that everyone will participate. Example of this is during a throwing and catching activity, participants can select the type of ball that they feel that they're most comfortable with. In some changes, persons with autism may struggle to grip the ball due to. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. In parallel activity, next slide, please. Sir Mark, you are grouped according to ability. Everyone participates, but at a level appropriate to themselves. And that's why we have alternate and separate activities. and a person or group does have a separate activity, and disability sport and reverse integration is involved. Examples of this are the following. In netball, the majority of group may wish to play the standard game of netball, but a participant who is hypersensitive may be unable to participate in the activities in the sports hall due to the loud nature of the environment. And on this and PWDs can take part in wheelchair basketball, goalball, or table cricket. It will encourage to learn new skills and to increase participation for persons with disabilities in sports. Next slide, please. All people in the autism spectrum disorder avoid contact sports. Why? Because it can lead to certain stimuli such as contact with others, and many people choose football, rugby, and martial arts. Individual sporting activities for persons with autism is done to participate in recreation without social interactions that may cause stress. So what does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? Before we close our topic, the reason why we have sports for persons with autism is because we need to be engaged in active participation in sports, because this is done not only for us, but to improve our well-being, our mental health, social skills, and to increase self-esteem. And that's why PWDs need sports in order for us to have developmental skills, in order to show that you are staying fit and healthy. We'll, we will be back with our other parts of the show right after our intermission. Okay, welcome back to Editorial. So, our next part of the show is to be having our Election 2022 updates. Our Election 2022 update for today is all systems go for the absentee voting. COMELEC is ready to start the apps of absentee voting for local absentee voters and OFWs for the May 9, 2022 national elections. Local absentee voting for persons deprived of liberty. Many members of the media and uniformed personnel will be working on the election day is on May 9. Local absentee voting is on April 27, 28 to 29. Overseas absentees is only for Filipinos who are dual citizens who are working abroad, and this will be done in the Philippine Embassy on April 10 until May 9. According to George Erwin Garcia, he states that anytime, anywhere in the country, alas 8 po sa April 10, sila po ay makakaboto na. Makakatanggap na rin kayo mga balota mula sa inyong koreo kung ang pinili ng OAV ay sa pamamagitan na magtatanggap nila sa mail. He explained that the dispatch of automated election system supplies from the Santa Rosa warehouse last week had to happen at midnight so that the container vans can meet the schedule of shift departures. According to him, he said, kasi nga po, pagka isang container van ay sasakay sa barko, Yan po ay kalimitang binabiyahe ng madaling araw. Bakit? Madaling araw kasi pag-aalis ng barko, di pwedeng mahuli. It will be dispatched for Bangsamoro. Comelec dispatches supplies meant for the farthest places first. These will be sent to the regional hubs while they await their final deployment on the date closer to the elections. No official ballots for the 2022 elections have been shipped yet. Comelec and the National Printing Office finished the ballots. 300,000 ballots are still up for verification and quarantine. There are 178,000 effective ballots. They will be destroyed on the date to be announced with the poll body so the public can observe them. The effective ones will be replaced with the correct ones ahead of the polls. So that concludes our election 2022 updates. Next slide, please. Our next part of our show is let us have the time to get to know our election 2022 candidate. Our featured candidate for today, next slide please, is Robin Padilla. He's running for senator this year, and he's also an actor since the 1980s. His father, Casimiro Roy Padilla, was the former governor of Camarines Norte from 1975 to 1988. So, this May 9, 2022, let's vote wisely in the May 9, 2022 elections. Next slide, please. Let us have the time to move on to our announcements. Next slide, please. As part of our continuing efforts to support our organization, Hands in Inclusion Philippines, we urge everyone, including our viewers, to purchase our products in our Hands in Inclusion Philippines online shop or Include Tindahan. The products that we are selling are the One Inclusion Nation t-shirts. Sizes are range between small to triple XL. Prices are range between 325 to 375 pesos with the colors of white, blue, pink, red, green, yellow, mustard, gold, and black. For the tote bags, is available in black, white, pink, blue, and yellow. Prices are range between 190 to 200 pesos. So if you want to buy, please message us. Payment first before purchase, and our mode of payment is GCash and Union Bank. And also, we deliver via GoGo Express and LBC courier companies. Next slide, please. The Hansen Inclusion Philippines online shop is only serving areas for alert level 1 to 4 only. It will be temporarily suspend its operations for alert level 5 areas. 12 midnight to 11:59 in the evening is our operating hours. And if you want to order uh, from the online shop, or if you want to check the full list of orders, please visit the Hansen Inclusion Philippines online shop. Email us at hansen.inclusion@gmail.com. Next slide, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we at Hansen Inclusion Philippines needs your help. So to be honest, many of us have already been struggling with our financial problems in our organization. So regardless, no matter what, it doesn't really matter if you're going to donate small or large amounts. Then this will be a great big help to us. How can you do this? Scan and donate using GCash on this QR code that's flashed on your screen, or also through Union Bank as well. So please help Hands in Inclusion Philippines for its fundraising project. Our goal is to raise funds in the organization and let's have the time to rebuild for a bigger, better, and a bolder Hands Inclusion Philippines. Proceeds from the sales and for the donations will go to us and Hands in Inclusion for the formality of the organization, including the SEC registration in the future, the expenses, and the financial aid of the members due to the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. So guys, for those who did this, You'll be glad you did, and thank you for your continuous generosity and for your support in advance. Before we go on to our next slide, if you want to purchase accessories from Ate Lady Jean Florese, then you may message her at LJean Accessories on Messenger, or you can contact her through WhatsApp as well. Next slide, please, Sir Mark. Next slide. So if you have problems with your laptop or desktop, if it's MacBook or Windows, or if you have problems with your Android or iOS phones and tablets, if you want to download music, games, and movies, Sir Mark Betita is here to assist you. So how can you do this? You may contact him at 0947-355-4759, or you may message him on Facebook, Mark Paolo Betita. Next slide, please. We have some events coming up for the month of April in Best Buddies Philippines. On April 8th, it is Summer Salad Sillies on our Friendship Friday. April 9 is I Can Set Healthy Boundaries with Teacher Lay Santa Maria of the Atma Prema Wellbeing Group. After the Holy Week break, we'll resume on April 22, Buddies Be Friends. April 23, I can find lessons in all my experiences with Teacher Lay of Atma Prama. April 29, Buddies Be Friends. And then April 30, I can focus and center myself with Teacher Lay of Atma Prama Wellbeing Group. If you want to join these events, follow Best Buddies Philippines on Facebook and Instagram. Send them a message and they will send you the registration form and link as well. Remember, Best Buddies Philippines is a non-profit, non-denominational, and a non-political organization. We support for a clean and fair elections, and we do not endorse any political party or candidate. As members of the Best Buddies Philippines community, please refrain from endorsing a candidate during the activities of Best Buddies Philippines. In Best Buddies Philippines, make a friend, be a friend. Next slide, please. If you are hungry, especially for your breakfast, lunch, dinner, merienda, or any occasion, then you may want to order some of the foods from the Sobra Comfort Food Restaurant and the Kuya Korea Restaurant. For the Sobra Comfort Food Restaurant, menus are for the all-day breakfast, Papa Sobra, Chicken Tocino, corned beef brisket, homemade spam, and beef ikaw. Prices arranged between solo to large. Sizes are ranged between solo to large. Prices are ranged between 265 pesos to 1,450 pesos. Next slide, please. For the rice trays, we have beef bulgogi, beef shawarma, beef gyudon, pork crackling bits, pork belly bird, and charred chicken, and boneless fried chicken. Sizes are ranged between solo to large. Prices are ranged between 265 pesos to 1,700 pesos. Next slide, please. For our sandwiches, we have the fried chicken sandwich, pulled roast sandwich, corned beef sandwich, and chicken tocino sandwich. Sizes are ranged between solo, regular, large, and box of fours. Prices are ranged between 320 pesos to 1,540 pesos. Next slide, please. For our pasta, we have mac and cheese and penne and gorgonzola. Sizes are ranged between solo, large, and prices are ranged between 290 pesos to 1,350 pesos. Next slide, please. If you want to order in the Sobra Comfort Food Restaurant, the menu, and if you're interested to buy, here are the ways on how you can order. Head over to the Sobra Comfort Food website, select the dishes you want to order, choose between pick up or delivery, pay conveniently through any of the same integrated payment methods, and your order is confirmed. Expect updates via text or email. Next slide, please. For our rice bowls, we have beef bibimbap, beef bulgogi, pork samgyup, and K-pop chicken. Prices are range between 195 to 220 pesos. For the boneless popcorn chicken, sizes are ranged between half to whole. Prices are ranged between 235 to 425 pesos, with the flavors of gochu, ganjang chicken, and K buffalo available in the Kuya Korea restaurant. So if you want to crave for something Korean, Then you may want to order in the Kuya Korea restaurant, but if you want to order there, you can check the website as well. Next slide, please. Lastly, follow Hands in Inclusion Philippines on our social media pages and its digital platforms as well. It will be appreciated for you guys to do this as early as now. Follow us on Facebook, Hands in Inclusion PH, InkluRadyo, InkluSports, InkluNihan, InkluGaming, and the online shop. Instagram, Hands in Inclusion PH, Twitter, HNI Philippines, Kumu, HNI Pilipinas, and subscribe to the Hands in Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel. So guys, for those who did this, thank you very much. Next slide, please. So here's the time for our shout outs and greetings. So from Sir Mark Betita, shout out to Tropang PWD, Annalyn Lopez, Palmera Boy, Sayuri Garcia, Cherry Ann, Shell Aquino, Jason Delencia, and to LG Florese. And also to Sir Mark Betita and to Lady Jane Florese, good evening to you and thank you for watching. To those who are celebrating their birthdays today, happy birthday and expect the more birthdays to come. To those who are celebrating their anniversaries, happy anniversary as well. For me, shout outs and greetings to my family, to Hands in Inclusion Philippines, Best Buddies Philippines, Best Buddies Benilde, other PWD organizations, and to my high school and college friends as well. To those who are watching, it may be a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you guys are in a good mood, but if not, you may use this time to improve on your mental health and your well-being as well. Those who are watching me on InkluRadyo, thank you very much as well. And if you missed this episode, it will be premiered on the next day on the Hands in Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel. Viewing pleasure. Next slide, please. Now is the time for our quote for the day. Our quote for the day, next slide, please, is from Michael Jordan. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. Especially for us in the autism spectrum disorder in relation to our topic, autism in sports. Because we need to take part in sports in order for us to improve our self-esteem, develop social skills, and to improve our mental health and our well-being as well. Okay, Sir Mark, can you disable the share screen, please, and open cam, please? Okay, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, for our editorial episode for Monday, April 4, 2022. I will see you again on Wednesday at the same time for the Editorial Wednesday edition. On behalf of Hands in Inclusion Philippines and InkluRadyo, I am your host, Carlos Miguel Kanahashi. Together with me is Sir Mark Paulo Betita as my technical supervisor for this day. Yawa ang Diyos, makakaraos po tayo. Sama-sama tayong lalaban para sa pangarap, pamilya at bayan hanggang sa ating tatak para sa One Inclusion Nation. Muli, magandang gabi at pagpalain nawa tayo ng Diyos ng poong may kapal. May the Almighty God bless us all. Ngayong ikalima ng anibersaryo, makatotohanan ng inklusyon, hanggat buhay ang solusyon. Sa HNI, posible. Pilipinas, God first. HNI, God first. Thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed evening to all and a goodbye for now. Bye-bye and thank you.